Ever feel like the world of finance has all these barriers to entry, like a secret handshake you don't know?
Hmm.
Well, today, we're kicking down the door to energy trading.
Yeah,
We're talking high stakes, fast paced, and potentially lucrative.
absolutely,
If you're thinking this could be your next career move, you're in the right place.
for sure.
We're going deep, and we've got RoleCatcher, the career experts to guide us. They've basically given us a treasure chest of insights into what energy traders really do.
Oh, and trust me, it's way more than just clicking buy and sell all day.
Oh, okay, so no get rich quick button then.
Not quite. It's more like, think of it like a really intense chess game, but instead of a board, you've got the entire global energy market in your hands.
Okay, so high stakes. Got it.
Huh.
I'm guessing that means energy traders need to know what? Oil, gas, electricity, all of that.
Absolutely. Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
And I mean, really know them. They're analyzing market trends, forecasting future prices, thinking about how things like, I don't know, political instability or even just crazy weather could impact everything.
It's giving me anxiety just thinking about it.
Right. Like, say, a hurricane rips through the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, man.
An energy trader has to be all over how that disrupts supply and messes with prices,
So, like, they need to predict the future.
pretty much. Or at least be able to analyze a ton of data really, really well. Speaking of data, here's something I found super interesting in RoleCatcher's guide. They put a huge emphasis on people skills.
Really? I would have thought it was all numbers all the time.
You'd think, right. But they say customer and personal service are like 70% of the job.
Wow, 70%. Okay, so break that down for me. Why are people skills so important for energy traders?
Because at its core, energy trading is about relationships, building trust. These traders, they're negotiating deals with suppliers, managing client portfolios. That's all about understanding people as much as it is understanding numbers.
So you've got to be a numbers whiz and a people person. That's a tough combo.
Mm.
Speaking of tough, what about climbing that career ladder? Rollcatcher talks about four main stages, from entry level all the way to the top.
Yeah, it's kind of like climbing a mountain, right?
Okay, I like that analogy.
Each level, you need more expertise, but you also get a much broader view of the entire landscape. So at that entry level, it's about mastering the fundamentals. Think research, providing support to those senior traders. RoleCatcher's example profile for entry level even mentioned getting certified in energy trading and risk management.
Okay, so building up that knowledge base, getting those certifications, kind of like training before you climb Everest.
Exactly. And once you've got some experience under your belt, that's when you move into that intermediate stage.
And what's that like once you're in the thick of it?
Things get really interesting because you're taking all those economic theories, all those complex financial models, and you're putting them into action in a live market.
Okay, now you've got me on the edge of my seat.
Right. Like imagine you're an intermediate trader who specializes in renewable energy, and you're trying to predict how government subsidies will impact the price of solar panels.
So you're not just reacting to the market, you're trying to think ahead, anticipate.
Exactly, and that's where the real skill comes in.
So if that's intermediate, what's it like to reach the peak, become a senior trader? What does Rollcatcher say about that?
At that level,
Yeah.
it's less about making individual trades and much more about leadership, strategy.
Mm.
You're advising senior management, you're thinking about the big picture, global trends, how fast technology is advancing, even climate change initiatives, and how all of that will impact the energy market years down the line.
So you basically have to be able to see the future.
Well, maybe not see it, but definitely analyze it.
Okay, so from crunching numbers to advising CEOs, that's quite a journey. But let's zoom in for a second. Rollcatcher talks about oil, gas, electricity. But do energy traders specialize in one of those, or are they juggling all of them at once?
It's really about deep expertise.
Okay.
A broad understanding is important, for sure, but a lot of traders, they become masters of a specific market.
Got it.
So say you're trading natural gas. You need to understand the supply coming from, like, Russia, the demand in Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
But to go deeper than that.
Deeper how?
You're looking at pipeline capacity, storage levels, even the weather forecasts, right? Because if it's a cold winter, heating demand goes up.
So you're not just looking at global trends, you're getting into the nitty-gritty of a specific energy market.
Exactly. And with the energy world changing so fast these days, you've got to know about these emerging markets. Think renewables.
Solar, wind, all that.
Exactly. Solar, wind, even things like green hydrogen. I mean, imagine being an energy trader who specializes in carbon credits, right? Navigating all the complexities of emissions trading schemes, that's where the real opportunity
So
is.
it's connecting the dots, global trends, market specifics, new technologies. It's like, what, financial detective work? Except instead of solving a crime, you're predicting the future of energy.
There you go. And speaking of predicting the future, we should talk about those certifications RoleCatcher mentioned.
Ah,
The CFA,
oh yeah, the Chartered Financial Analyst, right?
that's the one. And then there's the FRM, Financial Risk Manager. Those are like the gold standards if you're in finance, any part of finance, really.
Okay, so they're not just letters to make your resume look fancy. What makes them so valuable, specifically for energy traders?
They show you've got a deep understanding of investment analysis, portfolio management, and crucially, risk assessment. And anyone who knows the energy market knows it is volatile.
To say the least.
So having those certifications tells employers you can handle it. You can navigate those choppy waters.
It's like having a pilot's license, but for your career.
Exactly.
But even the best pilots, they still need nerves of steel. RoleCatcher mentions risk management, but how do these energy traders actually handle the pressure when there's, potentially millions of dollars on the line?
That's where emotional intelligence comes in.
Okay, so not just the numbers, but how you handle the pressure of the number.
It's not enough to have the knowledge. You've got to stay calm under pressure. You got to make rational decisions when everyone else is losing their minds.
So like when the market's in free fall, you can't just panic and hit the sell button.
No, no, no. A good energy trader, they know the risk tolerance, and they stick to their strategy even when things get rough. And they use tools, things like hedging.
Hedging.
Yeah, it's a way to minimize potential losses when the market gets volatile. It's like you're placing a side bet to protect your main wager.
Okay, so I get the concept.
So let's say you're buying oil futures,
All right.
contracts to buy oil at a certain price in the future, but you're worried the price might drop,
Which would mean,
which would mean you'd lose money. So to hedge, you might take an opposite position in another market, something that would gain value if oil prices fall. So it's like you're covering your bases, minimizing potential losses.
okay, that makes sense. It's complicated, but I see how it works.
It is complicated, but that's how they sleep at night, right? Managing that risk.
I think I need a nap just listening to all that. But it is fascinating how much strategy, how much mental toughness goes into this job. So we've talked about the analytical skills, the risk management, the importance of keeping a cool head when things get crazy. But there's one more thing we need to talk about, kind of the, I don't know, elephant in the room when it comes to energy.
Climate change, right?
Exactly. It's changing everything.
Absolutely. And it's not just an environmental concern, it's transforming the entire energy landscape, which obviously has a huge impact on energy traders.
So how does that actually play out? I mean, does that mean that instead of tracking how oil prices react to some big political event, these traders are now looking at things like how does the efficiency of a solar panel impact the energy market?
That's exactly it. Those skills we talked about, analyzing trends, evaluating risk, adapting to change, those are more important now than ever because the energy landscape is evolving so rapidly.
Give me an example. What's something an energy trader focused on renewable energy might be looking at like right now?
Okay, so let's say you're an energy trader who's looking at a wind farm project, right? You're not just thinking about, okay, how much power can this wind farm generate? You've also got to factor in government subsidies for renewable energy, the capacity of the electricity grid, even long-term weather patterns. Is this area going to get enough wind consistently?
So it's like their spreadsheets just got a whole lot more
It's
complicated.
definitely more complex.
What would you say is the biggest challenge for energy traders in all of this whole transition to a more sustainable energy future?
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty how?
We're in uncharted territory, right?
Yeah.
Which makes it really hard to predict what's going to happen in the market.
Can you give me a concrete example?
Think about green hydrogen. It has the potential to completely change the game when it comes to energy. But the technology is still being developed. The infrastructure to support it is like barely even there. And government policies around it are all over the place.
Oh, I see what you mean about uncertainty.
So if you're an energy trader looking at green hydrogen, you have to weigh all that uncertainty against the potential payoff, which is, potentially huge, but also potentially,
Non-existent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a risk. And it really highlights how important it is in this field to be constantly learning.
What do you mean?
The energy trader of tomorrow, they can't just rest on what they already know. They have to be constantly reading, researching, staying ahead of the curve when it comes to new technologies, regulations that are constantly in flux, what consumers want, all of that.
It sounds exhausting.
It's definitely a fast-paced field.
So to wrap things up, for anyone listening who's thinking, hey, maybe being an energy trader is my thing, what's one piece of advice we can give them?
Embrace the unknown.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about. The energy landscape is going to keep changing, and that's going to create amazing opportunities for those who are willing to adapt and learn.
I love that. Embrace the unknown. And if you're looking for the tools and insights to help you navigate that exciting, always changing world, you've got to check out RoleCatcher. They've been our guide on this deep dive into the world of energy trading. And let me tell you, their platform is amazing, a treasure trove of career resources for anyone who's ready to make their next move. Who knows, maybe the next time we do a deep dive, we'll be exploring your dream job. But until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and thanks for joining us in the deep dive.